Hi, I'm Abby Feinstein, Commercial Roofing Product Manager at CertainTeed. We're here with Reid Ribble, CEO of the National Roofing Contractors Association, talking about the impact the skilled labor shortage has had on the industry.
Good to be with you, Abby.
Good to be with you, Reid.
I've been all over the country in the last year and a half, meeting with contractors, and I can't go anywhere in the country right now without a roofing contractor, and in most cases, many roofing contractors, coming up to me and saying, we cannot find enough workers. I was intrigued by a report I saw that CertainTeed put out about specific labor savings in a study that you did about labor savings. And quite frankly, when I read the report, I have to tell you, I was a bit of a skeptic. And so I was curious if we could talk a little bit about that, because what did you learn there?
Like other manufacturers over the last decade or so, CertainTeed has been working on innovation in ways of trying to save labor, providing products to the market that install faster, ideally with less skill. One of the products that we put out is our self-adhered modified line, and as such, we marketed it with labor-saving claims that it goes down fast, stays on strong kind of deal. But we didn't have the data to actually validate those claims, or almost as importantly, to support the contractor to utilize that. To validate and to be able to offer the contractor some assistance on estimating, we hired a third party, Trinity ERD, a building consulting firm out of Seattle, to observe popular roof systems being installed, including self-adhered, so that we could time at the task level how long it takes to install these systems and then be able to compare them. So for example, we asked them to isolate different tasks, time how long it takes to put in a square in the field by product versus how long it takes to put in a drain by product, base flashing, etc. So we took all that data and applied it to a sample project to essentially to create a situation where, if we could have done it, had the same exact roofing contractor go onto the same building and install 10 different products and be able to assess where the labor savings was between those products. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
So when you applied that data to the sample project, I was happy to see that the fastest installed system was a 2-ply self-adhered.
Okay.
We looked at self-adhered, torch, hot asphalt within the modified sector, and then we also observed TPO and PVC.
And how cut up
And
were these
single ply.
roofing areas? Did they lots of penetrations, few penetrations? What did you find there?
So the roofs that we observed were similar in nature. So some may have been wide open, some may have had lots of penetrations. But when we created that sample project, it ended up being what Trinity felt would be an average roof. So it was a 500 square roof. It had 20 some odd pipes, 6 drains, 10 curbs. So it had some penetrations. And I appreciate that you make that point, because no roof is the same. And so when you apply this data to that roof, there was significant labor savings on a self-adhered over the single ply and certainly over a hot asphalt system. But if you took that same labor data that we observed and applied it to a wide open warehouse with no penetrations or very few penetrations, it gets a lot easier to roll out 10-foot wide rolls, and so the results of the study would have been different.
Right, and I think that that's an important part, an important point to make for roofing contractors, is they're looking at specific jobs, trying to determine how do I optimize efficiency and productivity. What systems should I be looking at? And the data intrigued me, quite frankly, because I spent 35 years running my own roofing company, did a lot of commercial roofing, and like I mentioned, I was a skeptic, but the takeaway that I had here was that, well, the data is the data, and I would have even been more skeptical if it was just data put out by one manufacturer and it was their own observations,
Sure,
as opposed to third party.
and I've met a lot of skeptics along the way here,
Sure you
right?
have.
And so when somebody says, I don't believe the data, what I hear them saying is, that's not what I've seen in my experience. And that's okay. Because if you apply this data to roofs that you've been on, maybe it didn't look that way. Or more importantly, what we saw was you can't isolate a product from the environment that it goes down in or the crew that puts it down. Look, every manufacturer would love to sit here and say, we sell magic, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Ours is the most efficient product out there. But nobody can say that. To your point about the environment, if it's very, very cold or very, very hot, the efficiency of a product changes. Self-adhered, for example, can be more difficult to use in really elevated temperatures because that product is really sticky, unforgiving when you're trying to manipulate it. And in very, very cold temperatures, doesn't stick as well. Same goes for other products out there. And almost most importantly, though, how are they managing that project and how are they managing their crew? Because regardless of what product they use, we observed tools they use, how they manage the tools, how well that crew is trained, if there's a quality manager on the roof, how well that crew is communicating. All of those things can accelerate or derail the labor efficiency of a project.
We're entering a whole new world at NRCA with certifying the third-party authentication of workers' skill. It's a program we call pro certification.
Yes.
And one of the most exciting elements of the pro certification program is certifying foremen, because that foreman really becomes not just the lead person on the job, but they're managing customer relations, they're managing quality, they're managing productivity, they're managing safety. They're really leaders and managers of a project. It's going to take some time for roofing contractors to digest data, to be open-minded to it. But I'm really proud of the roofing industry's innovation. Thank you for being with me today and spending some time.
I appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Good.